I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable. You have no idea just how reasonable I am.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. I'm reasonable. Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. If you are new here, welcome. If you ain't new, welcome back. How y'all doing on a scale from 1 to democracy? How reasonable have we been this week? I kind of looked at my notes and was like, oh shoot, I ain't even write that part. So we're going to have to wing it. On a scale from 1 to improv, how reasonable have we been? Basically, you guys, have you been reasonable? I must admit, I have been in... Y'all know I got 20/20 vision, so why do I have on these glasses? Because they cute. I have been in very unreasonable situations, but I will admit I have remained very reasonable, and that's why I'm here for you guys today. So I hope that in your lives, the same has happened. Oh, I just realized that I did not put my thing on Do Not Disturb. Let me go ahead and put that Do Not Disturb on, right? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Crowdstrike outage. We're going to be talking about me on Spirit Airlines. We're going to talk about Biden, President Biden, gracefully bowing out. We're going to be real respectful because everybody be like, he dropped out. I'm like, yeah, he did drop out, but that also sounds negative. So we're going to skew more positive and say that he has decided to step aside and give his blessing to someone else, our Madam Vice President, Kamala Harris. We're going to talk about that. And this week, real quick, we're going to talk about me going to see the MJ musical on Broadway. And then this week we have a Secret Santa Ask Z, and it ain't even December, but we're going to talk about it. So first up, let's talk about these show dates, right? Everybody that came out to Columbus and Cleveland, Ohio, thank you. I really enjoyed my time in both places. Really enjoy. As much as later when I start talking about getting on Spirit Airlines, y'all gonna be like, well, did you really enjoy it? Just remember earlier in the episode, I said I really enjoyed my shows. I enjoyed my show so much in Columbus, Ohio. So thank you everybody for coming out. And then Cleveland, which everybody says, Cleveland is something about Cleveland. It just, I left there optimistic. I left there feeling fulfilled. So thank you everybody that showed up to my Cleveland shows. A special acknowledgement of Julian, I believe. Julian, not spelled in the traditional Julian way, and his mother Jasmine. They listened to and or watch I Am Reasonable, and they came to the show. And so thank you so much. Next up, tonight actually I'm in Los Angeles. Tonight, if you are watching this on Wednesday, if you're watching this as soon as I put it out and you are in Los Angeles, tonight I will be at the Improv. I will be at the Improv on Melrose. Show starts at 7:30 p.m. in the main room, okay? Then July 31st, I will be in East Hampton, New York. August 1st, Boston, Massachusetts. August 2nd and 3rd, West Nyack, New York. August 22nd through the 24th, Chicago, Illinois. September 13th and 14th, Bloomington, Indiana. September 18th, Raleigh, North Carolina. September 19th through the 21st, Washington, D.C. September 27th and 28th, St. Paul, Minneapolis. October 17th through the 19th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, October 25th and 26th, Detroit, Michigan. Why am I enunciating in the way that I'm enunciating today, you guys? I don't know. We added Amsterdam. Remember that we have a show in the Netherlands, Amsterdam to be specific, the capital of the Netherlands, November 11th, one night only, November 11th. So get those tickets, because when they sell out, I will not do another show. I will not add another show time. I will not add another show date. Trust me, they asking me already. This European tour, they're already asking me, Zainab, are you cool? And the answer has been no. So get those tickets. November 15th and 16th, Paris, France. November 18th through the 23rd, London. November 29th through December 1st, I'll be back in the States, Ontario, California. December 4th, Austin, Texas. And then December 6th through the 8th, Houston, Texas. Okay, December 6th through the 8th, Houston, Texas. While I have you guys, go ahead, subscribe. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hey, you guys. Subscribe. Also, if you like what you have been, hearing and tuning into, watching every week, make sure you share it with somebody. Okay? It's kind of free to share. So, don't gatekeep me. That's what Julian said to me when he came to the show. He was like, girl, and just so you know, I am not a gatekeeper. I shared the show with my mom, and now she watches every single week. So see, those are the people I need. I appreciate all of y'all, but let me tell you who I need. Okay, so what's up with Z? What's up with me? First of all, I was in New York last week. I was away from home for a full week, which is not uncommon. But last week I was in New York doing a live show for Bounty paper towels. Yes. The quicker picker upper. I think is Bounty the quicker picker upper. But then I had a day off. I was in New York Monday through Wednesday, and then I had to be in Columbus on Thursday. And Wednesday, I made sure not to book shows. I just really wanted to enjoy the city, enjoy my friends, enjoy some me time. And I went to see MJ the Musical. I have been a huge fan of Michael Jackson since I was a baby. Since I was a baby, I used to have dreams that I was at his concert, and I loved it. We went to a matinee. I would not do that again. We went to the 2 p.m. show, I think. And here's the thing about the 2 p.m. show, filled with old people. And I don't got nothing against old people. But the thing about old people is they come in late, they move in slow, and then they loud. And you can't tell them nothing. This one man came in late, had a walker, took forever to sit down, and then had the nerve to be talking on his phone. Like, you know me. I said, shh. Normally, I would not have said anything, because it's like, it's not my job. We're going to get into the black woman's job. They were talking about black jobs. Maybe we're going to get into black women's jobs later, and how everybody be trying to make us do a job. Anywho, I'm like, you know what? Everybody's bothered, because I could see everybody's head on a swivel trying to see where this noise, this continuous noise is coming from, right? But ain't nobody saying nothing. So normally I would not have said anything, because I would have been like, you know what? This is not why I got to be the one to fight. Why I got to be the one to put myself out there, right? Why I got to be the one to speak up and had an old man mad at me, right? But because I love Michael Jackson, the pop star, and his music so much, I couldn't help it. Yes, I most certainly was like, shh. Quiet, please, sir. Shh. And he wasn't the only one. That's the thing. I was like surprised, because me and my friend, we had went and got the tickets, and then we went and grabbed like a little bit of breakfast, some croissants, some coffee, etc. Right, a green juice. And I asked the people before we left. I asked the people working the show. I was like, hey, do you got? Because some Broadway shows are very strict. If you're not in before the show starts, then they're not gonna let you in until the intermission. And so I was like, oh, do we have to be here. Like, do you guys close the door? I didn't plan on being late because, like I said, I used to think I was gonna marry Michael Jackson as much as he's 20 plus years older than me. Like more than 20 plus years older, would have been more than 20 plus years older than me. I thought I was gonna marry Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson had did so much augmentation to his face. His nose wasn't sturdy no more. Like his nose really was, really, he ain't even really have a nostril left. You get what I'm saying? It was really on life support. And I used to, in my dreams, being a good wife, I used to practice. Don't hold this against me, y'all, because y'all always be coming up to me at the shows like, girl, that was very unreasonable. I'm going to tell y'all my dream. I used to dream that I was laying in the bed with my husband. And here's the thing. I was married to Michael Jackson, but it wasn't sexual. It wasn't like, it was romantic and like lovely, but it wasn't sexual. It was like a deep, deep love, but it wasn't, and it's like, I got your back. And you know what I'm saying? He, and the way, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like sexual at all. But I used to have this dream that I would sleep next to him and we would sleep facing each other like a sleepover. The more I talk, I'm like, girl, this sound crazy. You sound unreasonable AF. Like, what? We used to be facing each other like, almost like we about to tell each other secrets, like at a sleepover. And his nose would fall off and I would make sure that my face stayed straight so he wasn't embarrassed. So if you wondering who in the audience is an MJ fan, it's me. Oh, it's me. It's from Little MJ, from Little Michael, and the Jackson 6, actually. Then they had to go to the Jackson 5. Then they went to the Jacksons to, you know what I'm saying? Sparkly, fitted sweater suit Michael Jackson. Young, dark-skinned Michael, you know what I'm saying? Teenage, young adult, brown-skinned Michael Jackson, all the way to his last days as a white woman. I stand Michael Jackson. Even, and don't come at me with like, oh, but you know what I be trying to come to terms with that. With the possibility of all of the allegeds. Anywho. When I was like, oh, is there a time that we have to be there? And like one of the ushers was like, oh no, you could just come at any time. That ain't sit right with me. I was like, what? But ain't nobody coming in late to a Michael Jackson show. Even if somebody just playing Michael Jackson. Like I ain't heard anybody complain about this show. I've only heard rave reviews about this show. And so ain't nobody about to miss a beat, no pun intended, right? Ain't nobody about to miss a beat when it comes to Michael Jackson. Them old people. And they wasn't old, y'all. The matinee ain't old like 62-year-old. I'm talking about 91 years old. I'm talking about Biden, Trump, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I'm talking about all of them was in that theater, late and loud, okay? So never again will I go to a matinee. But aside from that, got my whole life. It was like the concert I'd never been to. Got my whole, even there was some places where people was a little bit pitchy. You know the matinee, it's like a Wednesday matinee. You like, wait, is this an understudy? Still, thoroughly, y'all have thought that I was at a concert. I was yelling. I'm talking about the old people being late and loud, right? They probably they probably got their own podcast. Like, and the young woman, yes, the middle-aged woman. Singing along like we really at an MJ show. I've been to an MJ show. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I would really like to go back. I would really like to go back with someone else who's like a huge MJ fan as well. Like I was singing along. I was singing along to every single song, except the songs where it's like the singing part of the musical. And y'all, I know some episodes ago, I was like, I do not like musicals. I'll be very honest with you. When they were singing regular stuff, when they were singing songs I didn't know, I was like, come on, old people, y'all can talk. This the time now, sir. Take your phone call now while they doing the talking, singing stuff. This is the time where you make your phone go. But when they was playing those hits and performing those hits, oh pretty baby with the high heels on, you give me fever like I never ever know. Now, I don't be knowing lyrics to songs. I sing along like I do know, and then we discover I don't know. Put me in a Michael Jackson battle. You are not alone. You are not. I know the riffs. Then after that, I flew to Columbus. And here's the thing. So I had a show Thursday night in Columbus, and then I had shows Friday and Saturday in Cleveland. I could have easily flown from Columbus Airport to Cleveland Airport, but something months ago, when these shows were on my schedule, I made sure that they didn't book a flight. I made sure that a rental car was booked because I'm like, wait, what's the drive from Columbus to Cleveland? 2 hours? I'd rather do that. It's going to take me longer to get to an airport, check in. You know what I'm saying? Like, get on the plane, get off the plane. If there's any delays, like, one of the worst things is when you got a delay and the flight really only 30 minutes. It's like, we could have been in a car we could have been, you know what I'm saying? We could have been on the ground looking through forests, you know? And so I had chose to drive anyway. So I do my show Thursday night in Columbus. Friday morning, I wake up. I get, you know what I'm saying? I do what I do, whatever. I get on the road. I drive. My younger brother texts me. My younger brother, he's the engineer in the family so far. And he texted me and he was like, hey, check your website, make sure everything is working. And I was like, oh, okay. What's up? And he was like, oh, there was a Microsoft outage. And I was like, oh, okay. I just checked my website and it looks like it's working fine. But I was like, aren't I on like I'm using like, I thought I was using like an Apple server. And he was like, oh no, Apples don't have servers. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. So let me be a little bit more thorough with my check. And as I was checking my website, my brother then got back to me and was like, you know what, Zainab, I was wrong. Apple actually does have servers. They don't have as many servers as Microsoft, but they do have servers and their servers aren't affected by what just happened. And I'm like, well, what just happened? He was like, oh, there's an outage. They're not giving us any more information, but apparently there was like supposedly like a software update or something like that. And it caused an outage. And so anything that had the like Microsoft operating system, it kind of showed that blue page that you see, like that kind of error or startup blue page, like from way back in the day. Like, I feel like I ain't seen that blue page in years. I ain't seen that blue page since like 2001. That's like first computer page. You know? I guess first computer page is like a gray page with the green, you know what I'm saying? But like shortly after that, it's the blue page, right? Anywho, so I didn't think anything of it until I got to Cleveland and everybody was like, oh, I'm glad you was able to make it. I'm glad you was able to make it because all the flights got delayed. All the flights got grounded. All the flights got canceled. And I'm like, I would have been so mad if my flight got canceled and I was waiting at the airport and the drive was only 2 hours. And here's the thing. It's like, okay, Zainab, well, you could ain't nothing to just drive. Even if you found out later, it would have been nothing to rent a car and drive. The thing about when stuff like this happens last minute is the rental cars be sold out because everybody is now trying to rent a car to get where they're going. Anywho, I do my shows and it didn't affect me. So I was happy, right? I moved on, did my shows, did both my shows Friday night in Cleveland, did both my shows Saturday night in Cleveland. I'm back at the hotel Saturday night by like 11:30 p.m., right? I'm getting ready. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting ready. I got to drive back to Columbus to fly out, right? 2 hours drive in the morning. But it's like, I'll get a coffee, I'll get some breakfast, I'll get me a good croissant, whatever, and I'll have a good old drive, right? Listen to I was listening to a lot of different stuff. I was listening to Kendrick, Anthony Hamilton, Mariah Carey, her. I was listening to a lot of people. There was a comment. Forgive me, I'm not thinking of your name right now, but there was a comment left like, Zainab, you got to listen to her first album, and I did start listening to her first album. I haven't finished yet, but it's definitely moody, but it's definitely giving Lauryn Hill vibes. It's like, oh yeah, this is. You could tell like very clearly who her influences are. Yo, it's so hot. Woo! Woo, child, it's hot. And this ring light ain't even, we gonna try and get through this, okay? Now I'm on here looking like Bam Bam. Do I need to put on the glasses to mature myself up? Ooh, but they dirty. Anywho, so I get back to my hotel that night, right as I'm packing, I get a barrage of texts from Delta. Your flight's canceled. So sorry, your flight's canceled, but we rebooked you on the flight. We rebooked you on the flight. We rebooked you on the flight. Delta had me going. Let me tell y'all what Delta had me going. So I was in Columbus, that's the Midwest, and I got to fly back to LA. Delta said, you know what, we can't really get you there that way, but what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you go to Atlanta, then we're going to have you go to Memphis, then we're going to have you go to Salt Lake City, then we're going to have you go to San Antonio, Texas, then we're going to have you go to San Jose, California. And see, by that time, it's a week later, so do you even want to be home anyway? So I'm like, all right, all of these connections, that's too much room for error, right? So then I'm like, damn, I'm in the Midwest. How long does it take for me to drive back to Los Angeles? I'd still be on the road. So that wasn't happening. Then I was like, okay, I left Delta's website and went just to the Columbus Airport website. And I was like, let me see the status of all the flights, all the airlines. And let me tell you what I noticed. I noticed that all the Delta flights was affected. The American flights was affected. The United flights was affected. But let me tell you what, some of the flights for the other companies was affected. But let me tell you what company was not near flight, was not a flight in sight affected. Southwest. Southwest said, remember a year or two ago, that holiday when we had to cancel stuff and y'all was a little bit mad? But we told y'all, just stick with us. We got this. I told y'all, we got this. There was not one Southwest flight that did not take off. Southwest said, then I looked and saw most of the budget airlines was taking off. Southwest, Alaska, airlines I never heard of, Breeze, Spirit. I said, okay, see, because they still using dial-up. I don't know what software Delta was using, but Southwest was using AOL. And so they got out on time. Every single flight, every single passenger. My friend said, girl, Southwest and Spirit, they still doing stuff by hand. They writing stuff down. So let me tell you, they said, oh, y'all are on iPhones. We're still working off a BlackBerry. So we'll be all right. Our planes are in the sky. So now I'm looking for flights home on the budget airlines. Spirit is the only one that offers a direct flight from Columbus to Los Angeles. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep this these Delta flights that they got me on. I'm going to keep these 19 Delta flights that they got me on. Delta had me going to 72 different cities. Delta had me going to every continental United States except Hawaii to get home. I said, you know what? Let me book this Spirit flight though. And the moment I see this Delta flight start getting delayed, this the first Delta flight, because you know if the first one mess up, then by the time I get to New Hampshire or wherever they was trying to send me, by the time I get to Wisconsin, wherever they was trying to send me, it's already messed up, right? There's no lie, you guys literally still sending me notifications through my Delta app like your flight is about to board. I'm like, where they got me going today? Oh, they still ain't get me to LA? I booked that Spirit flight. And this is why I want to say, my mother used to say to me when I was a kid, I would always say, I ain't never doing that. I ain't never doing this. It's never going to happen. My mother used to always say, and it might be very cliche, but she used to say, Zainab, never say never. Even the phrase is cliche because in order to say the phrase, you got to say never, right? She would say, never say never. I said some years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I said, I will never. You never catch me on a Spirit flight. That's what I said. You'll never catch me on a... No. I value my time, my comfort, my life, my peace of mind, my... the wave. I value too many things to be caught on a Spirit flight. But let me tell you who came through in the clutch. Spirit came through in a clutch. Let me tell you, when they sent me that survey, could you please tell us how we did? Excellent. Excelente. Y'all did amazing because you got me home. You got me home on the same day that I was supposed to get home. Now, had I known that it was going to be as simple as booking me a nice little Spirit flight and get home, then I would have had a day in Columbus. Now, here's the thing. Delta got to figure this out because I can't make Spirit a regular occurrence. I just can't. I thank God. I thank God for what Spirit did. It's almost like, you know what Spirit is like? Spirit Airlines is like that relative that you know ain't right. For the most part, they going to bring you trouble. But there's going to be that one time when you least expect it. They're going to show up and they're going to take care of you and do exactly what you need them to do. And that day, you're going to say, I am so thankful. I am so appreciative. Thank you. Thank God. But now I got to keep you at arm's length. Let's talk about this outage, right? Okay, so apparently Crowdstrike, which I never heard of before, is a software company. And its very job is to prevent cyber attacks. And so there's a lot of people speculating like, oh, is this a cyber attack? They came out very clearly, very directly, very quickly and was like, this is not a cyber attack. I don't know if it's a cyber attack or not. But what I know is they can't say, if it is, and I'm not saying it is, but if it is, they can't say it's a cyber attack because that's the essence of their business. That's what they do. It's kind of like, yeah. Anywho, so it started early Friday morning. And apparently they were doing an update. That's what they said. That they were doing an update to their antivirus software, which is designed to protect Microsoft Windows devices specifically from attacks. And it was a glitch or something. It was a glitch. Anyway, it caused flights to be delayed. It caused flights to be delayed because people weren't because I didn't understand that. I was like, wait, why? I don't understand why it affected flights in the way that it did, right? It didn't really affect many other things. Like, I guess it did, but I guess what really affected everybody was the flights, right? And so because when the software update was supposed to be happening, it just gave that blue Microsoft screen. People could not check in. Like, you know, a lot now we have moved from going to a live person. We check in online. We check in via our devices, via the kiosk or the machines at the actual airport. And none of that was available for the airlines that were affected by it. And so they had to do things manually. They got to do everything that they doing manually. That's why Southwest was over there with the typewriter. Like, oh, we've been here. And that's why our flights will be right out on time. Our flights will be out right on time, okay? Because, yeah. So I was reading this BBC, this article on BBC.com. And just for like information purposes, like really trying to understand it, right? And so, okay, so what caused the outage? First sentence is still unclear. Figure it out. I don't know how much money y'all got. Crowdstrike is on the New York Stock Exchange. Let's see how much a share is. $268 a share. And let me just tell you, with this outage, the shares ain't go down. The share is up $4.97 today, 1.88%. Okay. So the fact that it's still unclear, where the shareholders we got to talk to? Who we got to talk to? Because Crowdstrike is known for producing antivirus software intended to prevent hackers from causing this very type of disruption, as I said earlier. According to the Crowdstrike boss, George Kurtz, the issues are only impacting Windows PCs and no other operating systems and were caused by a defect in a recent update. So who's the engineer we got to talk to? The issue has been identified, isolated, and a fix has been deployed. We'll tell Delta because they still got me connecting in New Mexico. They said plain out, this is not a security incident or a cyber attack. When will it be fixed? First sentence, it could be some time. Thanks, news outlet. CrowdStrike's Mr. Kurtz, speaking to NBC News, said it was the firm's, quote, mission to make sure every one of its customers recover completely from the outage. Okay, so your customer is Delta. I want to know what Delta is going to do for me. Because like I said, Delta got me in Miami right now and not on the beach. What's the solution? Something important to note here is that personal devices like your home computer or mobile phones are unlikely to have been affected. Because, yeah, it's software. So we don't have CrowdStrike on our computers. Like, we might have Norton, right, antivirus or whatever, but like CrowdStrike seems like something that's for huge corporations, right? So yeah, of course, whatever. The outage is impacting businesses. Which airports have been affected? All of them. All of them. The ones that were affected the most. Several U.S. airlines, notably United, Delta, and American Airlines, grounded their flights around the globe for much of Friday. Australian carriers Virgin Australia and Jetstar also had to delay or cancel flights. Airports in Tokyo, Amsterdam, Delhi were impacted. British Airways had to cancel a bunch of flights. UK airports saw delays. The outage could impact people getting paid on time. It said that the outage could mean firms are unable to process staff pay. So any company, any huge company that uses the CrowdStrike antivirus software, that's who's affected, right? If your company doesn't use the CrowdStrike software, then you're not going to be affected. The U.S. firm, which is based in Austin, Texas, that's crazy because that's the one city besides Honolulu that Delta wasn't trying to send me to. It's like they was trying to send me to all the cities that I don't want to be stranded in. You know what I'm saying? But they wasn't trying to send me to Chicago, New York, Austin, Houston, San Francisco. They was trying to send me to Boise. No shade, Boise. No shade. Y'all hear outside? I had to open the door. So forgive me if this episode is an interesting sound one, but my camera kept overheating. Anywho. I posted that, first of all, let me just say again, Spirit got me home safe. But I posted it. Because, you know, I wasn't sure if somebody was going to see me and be like, oh, she on Spirit? Must not be that funny. Because, you know, people be like hurting in their heart like that, you know. Remember J-Lo? J-Lo bought the whole row and they was still like, J-Lo got a whole $60 million something house in LA, $30 million something house in New York. And she was in economy in Europe and they was bought the whole row. And remember, everybody was still like, things must not be working out. So I was like, you know what? Let me 8 Mile this. Let me be Rabbit this. Let me put it out there before anybody else could put it out there. Also, I just couldn't believe the turn of events. But I posted it on my IG stories and probably like 12,000 people were concerned. Like, I did not mean for this story to get so many views and shares. And I got so many messages like, oh no, girl. Oh no. Y'all, it's like, you know what this Spirit flight was? It was like a Tyler Perry movie. You know how there's one good Tyler Perry movie. One. You decide what that one is, but there's one. That's what this Spirit flight was. Everybody was like, oh no, girl. You okay? Did you make it home? Let us know. My little sister put in a group chat, hey y'all, I saw that Zainab had said that she was getting on a Spirit flight. Did we hear from her? Has anybody laid eyes on Zainab? Has anybody spoken to Zainab? She was being funny because I had definitely already put stuff in a group chat. Anywho, let's get into this main topic, y'all. Oh, that was Ask Z, y'all. It's so hot. I forgot to say That's Ask Z. Okay, retrospectively, not Ask Z. Yo, what's up with me, y'all? That was What's Up with Z. What's up with Z was that I took a Spirit flight home, and I will forever be grateful. And maybe I'll start a Spirit scholarship, an emergency scholarship if all else fails. If Delta, American, United, if for some reason they fail during a really important time, I got a $500 Spirit voucher for you, so you could get where you need to go. That's what's up with Z, y'all. I don't know if there were things to contemplate on reason or not in there, but y'all let me know. Let's get into this main topic, though. All weekend I've been talking about on stage this political stuff, which I normally don't talk about, but I've been talking about it on stage, and it's been fun. Who knew? So Biden said he will not seek re-election. And y'all know he was mad at that. He did not want to say that. First of all, don't no president want to be a one-term president. That's why Trump is so mad. He's so mad that they ain't let him do his 2 terms. He's so mad that the American people was like, 1 is enough. Oh my God, 1 was more than enough. Now can we get back to the regularly scheduled programming? That's why I think that's the only reason. I don't even think I remember in 2016, from 2016 through 2020, people used to always say, look at him, he don't even want to be president. I think now that's the same thing. As much as people got all of these like villainous Trump stories, like, no, this is what he gonna do when he gonna be a dictator. And not that I don't believe all of those things. Not that I have a hard time believing all of those things, because I don't. But I think it's just ego. I think he wanted them people to get mad. He wanted them villains on TV where you don't understand. Like, you could be applying. There's way better efforts. There's way better uses of your time. But dang, somebody told you no, so that's the only reason why you do it. Somebody told you no, and you like, oh, you gonna tell me no? Watch. And then your whole mission, whatever. Biden decided to step aside, which a lot of people are framing it now as like the most patriotic thing to do, to like, all right, you're not in the best condition. You're not the strongest candidate. There may not be confidence in you being the person that can beat this guy that a lot of us as the American people do not want. And we don't have the confidence that you are the person that can get it done. And so, please step aside. And he didn't want to step aside. And then in the last hour, some point Sunday, he decided, I think he probably decided like Saturday. He probably decided during the CrowdStrike. He probably was like, everything down? Okay, let's talk about it. And they got a statement together, and he decided to not seek re-election. And then shortly after that, a matter of minutes, a very short moment, where everybody was like, but wait, what does that mean? He was like, and I'm endorsing Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. And so now it's time to see the black girl magic. The black and Indian girl magic. Now it's time to see a little hip hop Bollywood. What am I talking about? If Kamala Harris, she won't be. She ran for president. She ran in the primaries against Biden, and she was out pretty early. And if she does become, I wanted it to happen a little bit different. I'll be honest. I'd like her in a position, because for me, it's like, oh, you got both of the other options are bad. So let's try something else. They might be bad too, but it might be good. But like right now, we know that this is bad. If she does win, you guys, Kamala will be the first black woman president. She'd be the first Indian woman president. She'd be the first mixed race president. Well, no, that's Obama, right? Obama was biracial. Okay, Okay, so I got to take that away from him. Should be the first AKA president. Hey, sororities. Should be the first president with a silk press. Should be the first president to sleep with a bonnet on. Should be the first president that oil her scalp. Although Obama used to probably be in a White House, like, they talking about I'm going to get old doing this job. So let me go ahead and rub my temples with some castor oil. Let me make sure I'm coconut oil in my edges. Because Obama went gray, but he ain't lose no hair, right? How y'all feel about it? I don't really think there's anything to say. It's just, we just got to watch, right? Like, we just got to watch. I know that they said that she made in that first endorsement, her first speech, she was able to raise like over $250 million, which is great. I haven't done the research enough yet, you guys, to talk about who I think her running mate should be, but I know that it is very important. So whoever you guys think it is, make sure you put it in the comments. I do also want to talk about, and I think next week, I think I want to really get into this deep, and I just haven't really had the time to sit down and kind of like really educate myself and get the information. And y'all know I don't, cause it be, especially with a topic like this, people love to come in with hate, with their rhetoric, with their opinions, and I just want to make sure that I am giving informed opinions and factual information. So, and it's just the beginning. It's one of those topics where as soon as it happened, everybody got something to say. You know, everybody like, I mean, it seems like people are feeling a little bit energized. I personally feel like I'm energized too. I'm excited at the possibility, but I also know that America is the home for a lot of racist and sexist people. Maybe that's how the political candidates should have answered that question when everybody was asking them like, oh, is America racist? Maybe they should have said, because you know they don't want to say, yeah, it is. So maybe they should have said it like that, like America is the home of so many racist and sexist people. And so it's going to be an uphill battle, but we got the leg strength. We got the stamina, we got the heart rate, and we staying hydrated. So I'm going to bring you guys a more informed opinion later on. And as it unfolds, right, we'll continue to talk about it until the election because we got time. And so we'll have a segment every week where we check in on, you know, this political journey. Also, I want to read and pick apart and discuss Project 2025. I think that's important. That's something that a lot of people keep referencing. And I just want to make sure that I understand thoroughly and can bring you guys real information that is understandable. Okay? So look forward to that. I'm going to get out of here. But first, we got to ask Z. This Ask Z comes from Lifutao at LIFUTAO 3446. It's a Secret Santa, whatchamacallit. And it says, Ask Z, for Secret Santa, price limit is $25. Is it reasonable to be upset if somebody gives you a small notebook, which is valued at $3, when you got somebody a $20 gift? Let it go. It's unreasonable. First of all, you should never I never say something is super unreasonable, right? But this is it's unreasonable to be upset. And I know I'm like, y'all can have your feelings. It's fine to be upset. It's a choice you make when you are upset, right? Don't even be upset. Don't even waste your time. It's unreasonable to exert that sort of energy on a Secret Santa gift. First of all, a Secret Santa gift should never be like the highlight of is this The Office and you Pam and Jim? If that ain't the case, then we not focused on no Secret Santa gift, okay? The limit is $25. Also, to Secret Santa, the person you giving a gift to ain't the person giving a gift to you. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it and be very happy with the thought and the effort that you put into your gift giving, and then just be appreciative that somebody gave you whatever they gave you. Remember when we talking about The Office, remember Jim had got Pam this wonderful, wonderful teapot with a message in it and all of this stuff in it. It was so sentimental. It was exactly what she wanted. But then Creed gave Jim a old shirt that he found in his car wrapped in a grocery bag or something like that. So, yes, it'd be different if it was like a Secret Santa among like close friends or family members. You get what I'm saying? This is something y'all do every year. Everybody knows one another. You ain't tell me where this Secret Santa is, but write in a notebook. Write down all the things in life you ever wanted in that notebook. Manifest it. Write it down and write it down over and over and over again. And when all of those things come true, the $3 notebook might have been the best gift you ever got. I'm Zainab, you guys. This is I'm Reasonable. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're in Los Angeles tonight, Wednesday, July 24th, make sure you come see me. If not, definitely click the link in the details of this podcast and come to shows if I'm in a city near you. Until next week, when I talk to you guys again, try to stay as reasonable as possible. Bye. Oh my God. Before I go, did y'all see this little new addition my friend got me? Ain't this cute? Okay, bye.